cover it in the book, but it's really in all species. All species fight. They fight each other. And we're the same. Okay, they all fight for, basically they make a living in the same way. Even fish fight. All the species fight. They fight for territory. They fight for, and territory in a human sense would be possessions, money, credit cards. We fight, we compete against each other because there's only so many goodies to go around, and some other person's going to get them if you don't. And so we sort of clash trying to get our hands on territory, essentially. Animals, if you think about the difference, an animal doesn't have a bank account. Nothing's worth anything to an animal other than some place, some plot of ground where they can make a living, do what they want. You know, they fish on the reef. They have a little part of the reef that they can make their living, and they don't want any of their other fellows to come in there. They don't like it. It's instinctive to want to fight them and shove them out. And I'll give you an example of how these species feel. This territorial stuff. If you can picture, like in your house or your apartment or something, you open the door of your apartment, you walk in, and there's some stranger sitting on your couch, okay, in your territory, in your stuff. Okay, that would be a very emotional experience. You'd either want to fight or run or something. It would be a big, that's what these other species are feeling when one of their fellows trying to take their territory away from them. Okay. So we're territorial also. We fight for these same reasons. The women, it's a slightly different deal. It's trickier with the women. They also push, they fight for position. They're a tricky bunch, these women. It's harder for us to understand how they work.
I should have led with that statement.
I On the other hand, you know, I'm not telling you something you don't know. These little kids wouldn't appreciate this, but you guys, the grown-ups, know. Yeah, it's different. We're genetically different. You know, we're different creatures, and we evolved for different purposes, obviously. Okay, the males fight, and one of the things they fight for is females. You know, the females don't have to fight each other. Well, a little bit maybe. But if you think about it, you know, and when I was playing tennis, one of the reasons I was playing, I wanted to win tennis matches. I thought I'd be more attractive to women, which is true. You would be. I mean, you look at the wives of these tennis pros; they're pretty good looking. You know, if they were Joe Schmo in the bar, they wouldn't have this quality. Okay, and having money. I mean, having possessions. I mean, I don't think women are generally attracted if you're not competent, if you can't provide. You know, it isn't just that they need the money, it's also that the guy can make it. You know, he's a competent person, and they can rely on him to interface and interpose with the world, get what they need. It's just like all the other species. But the women, and this, I've interviewed a bunch of the gals on the pro tour, asked them why they play, and you know, do they like it? Do they like competing? And weirdly enough, I would say more than half tell me they don't. They don't really like this. They're not like the guys are raised just knocking heads from the beginning. You know, we're always competing, and the guys on the tour are competing in ping pong and everything else when we get together. The women are somewhat different. A lot of them will, like when they quit the tour, I'll ask them, gee, do you miss it? They say, no, I don't miss it at all. I'm happy I don't have to do that anymore. They do tend to, you know, and so it isn't quite as, I don't know, just intrinsic maybe, to fight it out personally in this fight situation. I suspect the women kind of do it differently. You know, it's much more subtle, more emotional and so forth. The women on the tour don't like to practice together. The men do all the time. The women won't do it. they'll actually practice with their male coach. They tend to want to drill more than the guys. The guys will want to play sets. The women will want to drill. They did tell me also that what they do like, they'll stay on the tour because they do get stuff. I mean, they get money and position, and everybody likes a bit of fame. You know, you like to feel important. So they get that the same as the males, but slightly different. And so, as you all know, you know, working with the ladies is more emotional. And it's much more subtle. Guys are much less subtle.